I just want to take a minute to read a special letter, not just because Valentine's Day is Thursday. It's the same day as the Parkland shooting from a year ago. These are the words that I'm about to read are from Lori Aldehef to her daughter, Alyssa, who was just 14 when she was killed 1 year ago. And Lori wrote this letter for this online project, Dear World, One World Strong. So I'm going to try to get through this. She writes, Dear Alyssa, it is Valentine's Day, a day full of love, chocolates, and flowers. For me, it is more than that now. Last Valentine's Day was the last time I saw you. You wore a black and white dress, your long dark hair dangled, your makeup looked just right. Of course, your white Converse sneakers protected your feet as you walked into Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School. Valentine's Day is now about memories. Today, like all days, I remember you. I remember you weren't looking forward to going to school that day, and like many 14-year-old girls, you wanted a Valentine and were disappointed that you didn't have one. High school love is magic. I was 14 once, and those butterflies had whirled inside of me too. I wanted that for you. I want to get through this because these words matter. I remember the golden gift bag I gave you that morning. It held a pair of diamond earrings to make you feel pretty, a chocolate bar to make you smile, and a hair tie so you wouldn't ask for mine. I touched your ears, putting the stems of the earrings through your lobes. You said you were ready to go to school after that. You opened the car door. I love you, I said. I love you too, you said. Valentine's Day, the last time I saw you alive. She continues on. A year has been a long time without you. So much has happened I want to tell you about. I watch your brothers miss you terribly. They want to know that they miss fighting with you. They say thank you for convincing Dad to get unlimited Wi-Fi. Dad fights for you every day. He is your voice. Grammy has honored you and became a school safety activist. We got a dog. Her name is Roxy, and she's a soccer player like you. She kicks the ball around the yard, but sometimes puts it in her mouth. And your soccer team, wow, what a group. They wear your number 8 on their sleeves and have started using it sideways to honor you. Infinity. Oh, and I found out about the time you jumped off a bridge down by the beach. Alyssa, you jumped off a bridge? There are things I do in your memory that I never thought I could or would ever do. You see, a mother's protective instincts don't leave when we lose the ones we love. I talk to other moms who have lost children. We talk about you. We talk about their kids, but when we look into each other's eyes, we see it. A fire. I ran for the school board. I won. I screamed on national TV words of rage directed at the president. I started a nonprofit called Make Our Schools Safe, and there is a law named after you in New Jersey, Alyssa's Law. She goes on, but I just want to include her closing. She writes, it's Valentine's Day. As I remember you, grief washes over me. But that grief emboldens me to fight for change. I wish I could take all the bullets for you. It has been a year since I saw you. You in the black and white dress, those Converse on your feet, and that smile. I'll never forget that smile. It feels like yesterday. I just want you back. Love forever, Mom.
February 14th will be the 1-year anniversary of the mass shooting at Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida. And as was made clear by CNN's Brooke Baldwin, that hasn't made it any easier on the parents and families and friends of the 17 students who were killed that day. But it was after this shooting that a crop of young activists emerged, and since then, a pretty staggering 26 states and the District of Columbia have passed 67 bills to curb gun violence, and that includes legislation with support from Republicans in multiple states. And of course, more NRA-backed candidates lost their seats in the 2018 midterms than ever before, proving that the Parkland shooting was a watershed moment in the United States, that the NRA's influence is finally waning, and that Americans overwhelmingly oppose flooding our streets with weapons. But Republicans have remained obstinate to both the facts and the changing tides of the American population. They continue to offer little more than thoughts and prayers, and some are still calling for even more guns as the solution to the problem of mass shootings. We have more mass shootings now than at any point in the history of our country, but somehow, let's flood the streets with more handguns and semi-automatic rifles was their answer. That's like if people were dying dying at an unprecedented rate from cancer and their solution was more cancer. Seems antithetical, doesn't it? The whole more guns argument might hold water if we didn't already have 40% of the world's guns. We have more guns than people in this country, by about 70 million. Tell me, just how many more guns until we're finally safe? And of course, there's the good guy with a gun argument, that the only way to take down a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun. But even the Parkland shooter himself managed to attack a sergeant at the Broward County Sheriff's Office jail and take his stun gun. So no, if an armed, trained sheriff in a jail couldn't manage to keep his weapon out of the hands of a criminal, the likelihood that armed teachers or civilians will be able to do it is a straight up gamble that most people probably aren't willing to take. But all of these ridiculous solutions are in bad faith. Republicans know that more guns is not the answer, that when countries impose stricter laws on gun ownership, like waiting periods, mental health examinations, magazine restrictions, that occurrences like these will go down. In 1996, a mass shooting in Port Arthur, Australia prompted their elected officials to pass sweeping gun safety legislation, like banning semi-automatic weapons and instituting a 28-day waiting period. Since then, Australia's homicide rate and suicide rates have plummeted, and they've only had one single mass shooting. But the difference here, and the reason why Republican politicians refuse to acknowledge the facts surrounding gun safety, is because they are wholly owned by the NRA, which in 2016 spent $54 million in that cycle alone to elect pro-gun officials. And as long as the gun lobby continues to fund their campaigns at staggering rates, these elected officials will continue to protect them, even if it means losing American lives in the process. We lose 40,000 people to gun deaths every year in this country, and the right pretends that there's no problem. Meanwhile, the president and his sycophants are considering declaring a national emergency over a make-believe crisis on the southern border, where illegal border crossings have plummeted over the last 2 decades. If that doesn't give you any insight into where the GOP's priorities lie, nothing will. The fact is, if the Republican Party won't act after seeing 17 students killed in the classroom, they never will. The only way to change anything so that real action can be taken, real meaningful laws enacted, real protections can be put into place so that Brooke Baldwin never has to come on air again and read another poem from a mother to her dead daughter again, is to vote these corrupt Republicans out of office.